So this is kind of an interesting one. Google has amended its patent on PageRank. Now, going back a little bit, if you didn't know, PageRank is the original patent that they filed that really set out the guidelines on how they would sort web pages on the web based on their popularity, based on their link structure or their link profile. So what we saw in that original patent was, if one web page links to another, there's a link created between them. And then that links to another. And there's this idea of length, right? Length between the original link and the new link. There's this length between them. And so that idea of length, a little hard to say, was one of the fundamental concepts. Now, they introduced several years ago another amendment to the patent, and they introduced this idea of a seed page, or a page that Google's essentially manually says, okay, this is a really trusted link. So what's the length? Can't say that well, huh? Try it 10 times fast. From this link to the next, right? So they introduced that idea. But that got really complicated because as the complexity of the web grew and we started really looking at globally, what are the most important pages? What are the most important websites? What are the seed pages that we can use to start building this whole algorithm? It got super complicated. So this update, I believe, from the best reading I could do, is to try to minimize the way that the algorithm handled that type of complexity and make it more streamlined in understanding information. So read the patent yourself if you like. We'll leave a link in the comments or in the description below. It's pretty interesting stuff, fairly technical, but the idea was to make it easier for Google to understand complex information. Now, I'm going to take a step back here. They also updated their core algorithm, and I'll have a full video on that as well. The core algorithm update started looking at how much distance the crawler went into your website and how many pages the crawler hit that were low quality. So it seems to me fairly obvious that Google is trying to streamline how far the crawler goes, how much information they store, and what the size of those packets are. Because Google's already looking to minimize page load speed, which generally is smaller pages, less information. And they're also trying to minimize the work that their crawler does. So all of this, I think, is an effort to speed things up, to speed up the web. And we've seen this before. We've seen Google moving in this direction. I think Google would like the entire compute experience to be cloud-based and have nothing on your desktop. The desktop itself really should be just a little processor and have no storage on it. And they came out with the Chromebook with that philosophy in mind, because Chromebook doesn't actually store much of anything. Everything's on the cloud. So we can see they're moving further and further in this direction. And the patent is one of the many ways that they're doing that and trying to minimize the amount of data that they have to store to give incredibly quick responses.